What's up, everybody? Hey, Brian Tong here. I am outside of the Apple Visitor Center because I was just inside Apple Park, inside campus, and I got a hands-on look at spatial video with the iPhone 15 Pro, and then I got to view that spatial video in the Apple Vision Pro. This is a hands-on experience, and we weren't able to shoot footage from inside our experience, but I just wanted to tell you about it because not only did they show me spatial video, I also got to play around with some new mechanics that are part of VisionOS. Now, if you don't know already, iOS 17.2, the developer beta is out, and that beta enables you at home, if you want to play with it and you have access to it, to unlock spatial video recordings, which means basically you can record spatial video on your cameras right now, and then in the future, you'll be able to view it on the Apple Vision Pro. Now, what this does is it uses the wide camera and then the ultra wide camera. So when you turn your phone horizontally, you'll see those two aligned, and those two recordings are able to give you that perspective and record spatial video. It takes the ultra wide camera, crops it, adjusts it for color to match exactly what is being shot by the wide camera, and then you have kind of like your two eyeballs left and right that is enabled to capture those two video feeds at the same time and then create a spatial video. Now, this records at 1080p, 30 frames per second. It creates its own HEVC file that will live on your phone, and people are wondering how big is that file? Well, roughly for every minute, it's gonna be 130 megs per minute of video. But what I want to talk about is the experience, right? First of all, I got to play with Vision Pro again. I got to get back into the headset, and there were specifically three new things that stuck out in my mind. The first thing was when you initially put on the headset and you do the eye calibration test. In the previous first experience, you looked at the 6 dots in a row and to calibrate your eyes. But this time, they do it a little different. You actually do the eyeball test where you look at 6 dots. You'll pinch your finger to confirm the 6 dots that you're looking at, but it does it in a bright background, in a dark background, and what it's doing is it's calibrating so that your eyes can really interact with the Apple Vision Pro at the optimal experience depending on what type of content and what the lighting is in there, whether you're in environments where it's darker or whether you're looking at a video that's really bright. The idea here is to calibrate this as best as possible for different types of lighting conditions. Now, the second thing that I saw here, which was new, is we got to play in the photo gallery or the Photos app. And now if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see like a little curved line there, and that allows you to actually resize the screen or the display that you're looking at for those photos. So I just take my finger, I pinch, I hold, and that window becomes bigger. That was present in this build, and a new kind of mechanic allows us sometimes to see media really big up in our face. All right, you still have the bar on the bottom that allows you to move and pull that window back and forward, but now this right-hand corner has a little curved line on the edge of that rounded corner. You can then resize that. Now, the other cool function that they showed us, new gesture, let's call it, is I could take my 2 fingers and then pinch to zoom. So you spread your fingers across in a photo and you zoom into it, similar to multi-touch on your screen, but now you're using your 2 fingers there and then you're pulling it across. So this allowed me to zoom into 48 megapixel photos to really see that detail. And on the Vision Pro, it looked great. You're looking at the best fidelity video that we've seen on a headset so far. So that was nice, but 2 new mechanics that we got to play around with. Now, let's talk about spatial video, right? I was taken to a situation where I had the 15 Pro. I got to record some cool a sushi experience, and I got to go up close with the sushi chef. I took some shots of a container of chopsticks just to see the depth, and I forgot how detailed and how much depth the spatial videos actually capture. Now, remember, the early demos that you saw, spatial video was more like a square proportion, and it was shot directly from the Vision Pro. Well, now with the iPhone, you're gonna get a landscape video view. When you actually watch spatial video, the way they present it, it's faded out on the edges, so you don't see a hard edge line when you're watching this video. They want it to feel immersive. You can even dial up and turn on an environment while you're watching spatial video. But again, the depth. When I say there's a container of 25 chopsticks in there, I could literally see the detail and the depth of every chopstick. Again, this is recording 1080p, 30 frames per second. If you're following really fast moving objects, you can see them. The depth is still there, but because of the frame rate and this is 1080p video and it's in 3D, it does break down a little. So you can make some on still objects like sushi, you can make some I did some nice pans, and I mean, you could see the flesh and the detail on that sushi. But if I did really fast pans, you start to see the image break down. So I think what the whole point of this is that we're gonna get comfortable figuring out what it excels at and what it doesn't. I think anytime you involve people, you don't want them parts of their arms or legs chopped out of frame. You kind of want to keep them in there. And also, static objects with slow movement is really nice. But the detail and the depth, you know, I've seen 3D videos where maybe it feels like you capture 2 levels of depth. Here it feels like it goes 4 or 5 levels deep, and so I was impressed with it. And I think the whole point of spatial video is more about capturing these memories. And when I saw some of the things they were showing us, a family making lemonade, you have people around a campfire and a fireplace, I think spatial videos is gonna mess with us emotionally, because I can think about if you capture these amazing memories and then you watch them in 3D with that immersive audio, and it takes you back in a time, maybe it's a loved one, someone who's here, someone who's passed on, that could be really powerful. So just having those memories now, being able to record spatial video with the new iOS 17.2 beta today and basically store these all is gonna be great. Now, how can you watch them right now? Well, once you record that video, again, I told you it's an HEVC file, you can view it on an iPhone, but it'll look completely flat. And I asked Apple, they said that the video that you're looking at is going to be from the wide camera angle that you watch on your phone when it's flat. But again, this video is packaged with both video streams. So when it's, let's say you send through iMessage the spatial video to someone who has an Apple Vision Pro, they'll be able to see that file. It'll be larger, right? Because it's 130 megs per minute. It's gonna be a larger file, but you'll be able to send these over the internet. But if someone just has from iPhone to iPhone, even today, and you deliberately choose to record moments in 1080p in spatial video, then when they look at it on their phone, they'll see that flat version that comes from the wide camera. Now, to turn on spatial video, you'll actually have to go into the settings and go into the camera settings and then turn on spatial video as an option. But what's cool is now whenever you open up the camera app, you will actually see a little icon in the corner that looks like, you know, the Apple Vision Pro headset, and you can click on that. Once you select it, it then asks you to rotate your camera sideways in landscape mode to record that video. So you can't do this in vertical video, you'll do it in landscape. But once you activate that option, it's always gonna be available. It's gonna be one of the first icons that you see when you open up your camera app, just to make it really, really easy, front and center, and you know exactly what you're shooting when you do it. So it's always tons of fun to jump into an Apple Vision Pro experience. I will say, still, after using the second time, the Vision Pro that we used, I don't feel like there was anything physically different. The weight, you know, for me, depending on how it balances on your face, I did still feel the weight of the Apple Vision Pro after about maybe 10 minutes. I felt like we spent a good amount, maybe like 25 minutes in these new experiences and playing around with spatial video. So that's always going to be kind of one of the challenges. Not only is, yes, it starts at $3,499, but then the other challenge is, okay, how does this fit and feel on your face for long-term use? That the jury's still thinking about that. Like me, I haven't made a verdict on it. I got to wait till the final product till I can review it, but I'm still, you know, we'll see what happens. So either way, spatial video, I loved it. It is 1080p. Don't be turned off by that. It's more about the emotion that I felt watching these videos and knowing how I could use in the future and knowing how it could take me back to memories and feel ridiculously immersive. That's, I think, the power of this feature. And also, this is content that Apple wants us to record, because look, when we get an Apple Vision Pro, this is a content consumption device. Also, it's a new computing experience, but those are the two top ways that people, in my mind, are gonna really use this out of the gate. So they need us to record spatial video to then feed this beast. And so there you go. Those are just like my first impressions, and just from someone who has now experienced recording spatial video, but also viewing that spatial video on the Apple Vision Pro. So obviously, stay tuned. We got plenty more coverage here for my channel, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one, all right? Peace and love.